dangerous, and the story changes based on that. So, like many video games. However, this takes place with much less data storage than that. So, without further ado, we'll jump right in. This is our title page. Beware and warning. This book is different from other books. You and you alone are in charge of what happens in this story. There are dangers, choices, adventures, and consequences. You must use all of your numerous talents and much of your enormous intelligence. The wrong decision could end in disaster, even death. But don't despair. At any time, you can go back and make another choice and alter the path of your story and change its results. After your grandfather disappears under mysterious circumstances, you and your family move to his old abandoned house. And it isn't long before you encounter his secret research on aliens, cryptids, and other world-shaking conspiracies. All of it seems so far-fetched, but what if your grandfather's theories aren't so out there after all? What if the Mothman is closer and more terrifying than you ever imagined? What if an alien threat really does loom ever closer? You alone and the choices you make will save or doom the world. Pretty heavy. Fear grips you as you gaze up at your grandfather's abandoned house. It's an old Victorian mansion, 3-stories tall, nested above the Ohio River on the West Virginia side. The foothills of the ancient Appalachian Mountains rise behind its broken windows and slate roof like a dark shadow. You scale the termite-eaten steps, the rotten porch groans under your weight. As you open the creaking door and cross the threshold, the feeling of dread in your chest deepens. There's something strange. You just know it. You hear your parents in the kitchen unpacking boxes, chatting happily about their renovation plans, oblivious to the heavy feelings in the air. Your grandfather was an odd man who believed in strange creatures and UFOs. After he disappeared 2 years ago, the house sat vacant until he was presumed dead, though his body was never found. The inheritance was finally sorted out, and now this is your home. A chill runs down your spine at the thought. You try to reason with yourself. This will be a spectacular house once it's all fixed up. There's nothing to be afraid of. You decide that if you bravely explore room by room, closet by stairway, you will find there's nothing at all out of the ordinary. Your parents' voice fades as you climb the spiral staircase to the second floor, then head down a dim hallway. Overhead, a chandelier is covered with dust and spider webs. You flip the switch on the wall, but it doesn't work. Beneath your feet is a faded, thin carpet. The walls are decorated with dark oil paintings. There's not a single door along the entire long hallway, which seems odd. It's a dead end. But then, retracing your steps, you feel a cold draft. You pause, and then you see it, camouflaged in the middle of an oil painting of a black moth with piercing red eyes. There's a small doorknob. Your breath catches in your throat. A hidden room. Tentatively, you touch the knob and suddenly feel dizzy. A nagging sense of unease makes you waver. At the same time, you notice the warning sign that's hung directly above the painting. Private, do not dare enter. I'm sorry, the sign is directly below the moth painting, as you can see here. If you decide to heed the warning for now and investigate another part of the house, turn to page 12. If plan to bravely explore it, turn the doorknob, and go to page 72. Well, it seems like right away we have found potentially the scariest room in the house, but that's how I get into a pool, is not little by little, but all at once. So let's jump right in and go to page 72. You grip the little knob, twist, and push the creaky door open. Moths. It's like a dark storm cloud. Hundreds, maybe thousands, swarm out toward you. Their dusty wings bat against your face. Frantically, you duck and swat them away, trying not to shriek with disgust. Finally, they've all flown down the hall, save a few clinging to the doorway. They're impressively large and hairy. Your parents warned you about finding a few critters in the house, like mice, rats, bats, spiders, maybe even a raccoon or squirrels. They explained that it would take a long while to get the old mansion renovated and totally cleaned up. You remind yourself to be brave, but your heart isn't so sure. It pounds madly as you enter the secret room. Your breath catches. It's some kind of library or office. Sunlight streams through the cracked windows. The walls are lined with bookshelves. There's a leather couch and an old TV, a crusty coffee pot, a few dead plants, and a collection of telescopes. 3 long wooden tables are pushed together in the middle of the room, covered with file folders, maps, yellowed books, and old newspaper clippings. An antique desk and chair sit in the corner. Now I am to turn back to page 10. You realize it's a shrine to your grandfather's obsession with UFOs and creatures like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, and especially something called the Mothman. You take in the cluttered tables, scribbled in his shaky old handwriting. Notebooks are filled with observations and theories. One notebook is labeled Lanulos, another the Silver Bridge Collapse. There's a thick file folder for the TNT area, and a manila envelope labeled Indrid Cold. Among the papers, there are dozens of drawings of the Mothman, a 7-foot humanoid with wings and mesmerizing red eyes. Your grandfather has written the numbers 12156750 over and over and over again. It's scribbled in corners and margins. Sometimes it fills the entire notebook page. None of it means anything to you, but your curiosity is piqued and you're eager to keep digging. That's when your eye catches on a half-written note. If something happens to me, go to the... Your grandfather's handwriting abruptly ends there. Your spine tingles. What was he trying to say? If something happens to me, what did he know about his own disappearance? You immediately take the important note downstairs to show it to your parents. Turn to page 16. If you continue to dig through the files and notebooks for more clues, turn to page 30. Well, I certainly don't want to give away that I've got this grand new mystery that I'm involved in. However, I do think they might have some kind of insight into what this number might mean. For now, I will see what else I can find out, but eventually we will take it to them. So let's keep looking on our own and go to page 30. Sorry if you can hear my stomach growling, by the way. Overwhelmed by the amount of clutter along with your questions swirling through your mind, your attention goes to your grandfather's antique desk desk seems like a manageable project. It's relatively small with only a few drawers. Besides, it's there that your grandfather grins at you from an old photo. He's wearing red-framed eyeglasses, standing alongside your parents, holding you when you were a baby. It makes you sad to know he's gone. You wish you'd spend more time with him. When you had the chance. The desk is beautifully carved from dark wood. You slide open a drawer and inside discover a leather box. You open it and find an impressive watch with multiple faces and dials. The watch's background is navy blue and looks like a compass or star chart. You reverently hold the watch in your hands, deciding what to do with it. If you wear the watch as a remembrance of your grandfather, turn to page 142. If the watch seems too special and expensive to wear, you put it back in its box and turn to page 144. Well, we've inherited everything in this house, so why should this watch be any different? It does seem quite cool. So we will wear that and go to page 142. Okay, here's page 142. The moment you fasten the watch around your wrist, an uncomfortable pressure builds inside your skull. You blink, realizing the hands on the watch are spinning fast in reverse. Then the entire room begins to flip. Helplessly disoriented, you brace yourself. Everything is a murky, twisting blur. Suddenly, the air is freezing cold. The spinning slows, then stops. Your ears pop and it takes you a moment to find your balance. Where am I, you think? Beneath your feet is a cement road. You're outside, at night, on a bridge. Below is a wide, inky river. Snowflakes drift past. Your breath billows out in front of you as you gasp with disbelief. Across the way, you can see a town decorated with festive holiday lights. Excuse my yawn there. Go to the next page. You begin to walk among the vehicles on the bridge. No one is going anywhere. Traffic is stuck. Horns honk. A few people are out of their cars trying to see ahead, walking past. You notice the cars all look like old models, rectangular and low, trimmed with wide front grills and white wall tires. Everyone's clothes are dated too. It's like you're in a movie from the 1960s. The question isn't where, but when am I, you wonder, glancing warily at your grandfather's wristwatch. If you ask someone what's going on, turn to page 44. If you continue across the bridge to the town, turn to page 50. Well, I know a little bit of Mothman lore, and without spoiling anything, I'm going to try and get into town and off of this bridge. You hurry toward the town, which twinkles with merry holiday lights. It's Point Pleasant, only it's different, like a version from an antique postcard somewhere back in time. Carolers sing, deck the halls, and the festive mood cheers you. But only for a moment. A terrible sound rips through the air. Crack. It's so loud you feel like your eardrums are splitting. Crack, crack. You spin around to look. The bridge's cables are snapping. You gape in horror as the bridge buckles. Chunks of metal and cement fall into the icy river below. All around you, crowds begin to form in the street, rushing out of the shops and restaurants to watch helplessly as vehicles plummet from the bridge and into the dark water. People are screaming and sobbing. Get some boats out there, someone shouts. The crowd rushes around you, raging like an angry river themselves, flooding toward the falling bridge to sea. Frantic voices overlap. You can't jump in to help. You'll freeze to death. We need an ambulance. 177. Well, I don't believe that anything we do is going to change the outcome of what's happened. I think I would rather try and escape from this time period if we are able. So we will turn to page 156. It's one more page. There we are. Hand shaking, you manage to unfasten the watch from your wrist. In your frenzied state, you accidentally drop it onto the icy cement sidewalk. You stoop to retrieve it, just as a man's heavy steel-toed work boot crushes it. The sickening crack tells you everything you need to know. Your fate has been sealed. You stare helplessly at the watch's delicate insides, coils, and gears, its ruined cuts. It reminds you of roadkill. The thought makes you want to vomit as you scoop up every last piece you can find. But you know it's no use. Even if you were Dr. Frankenstein himself, you wouldn't be able to stitch the watch back together and jolt it back to life. It's dead. Which means you're stuck in the past. There's no internet. A bottle of Coke costs a dime. Neil Armstrong won't set foot on the moon for another 2 years. John F. Kennedy was assassinated just 4 years earlier. When you finally wander into the police station for help, you're afraid to tell anyone the truth. They'll think you've lost your mind, so you stick with the story that you have amnesia. You insist you only remember being on the bridge when it collapsed. Everything else is a blank. After that, you become a ward of the state. A short time later, a kind-hearted family adopts you and you start school. Which is what leads you to the strangest thing of all. Your grandfather is your classmate. He's your age, in your grade. You can't stop staring at him in the hallways. He probably thinks you're oddly fixated on him, which is true. You look so much alike, it's uncanny. He lives with his parents, who are, of course, your great-grandparents. But as soon as you graduate from high school, you move away. It feels like a bad idea to meet your own mother, and you know she'll be born soon. You've seen enough movies to know about disrupting the time-space continuum. You might accidentally erase your own existence. By now you've become a loner anyway. No matter how hard you've tried to fit in, you'll always be different. Eventually you find success as a science fiction novelist, writing about all the technology you miss from the life you left behind. People think you're an eccentric visionary, a strange genius. You'll never be able to tell a single soul the truth. You become a hermit and spend the rest of your days in an isolated cabin in the northern woods. Some nights, when you walk alone, you catch sight of Bigfoot. The end. Wow, well that was a very exciting end to that story. Do you guys remember what page we went to? I think it was 51. Let's see if we can trace that back and find out where we went wrong. It was not 51, it was going to be somewhere around here though. 50. Okay, yes, 51. It's more than you can take. Let's try and collect ourselves first. We're going to run away and try to calm down and think. So, let's turn to page 177. We won't make any more hasty choices like that if we can help it. Goodness, 177 is very nearly at the back of the book. Okay, here's 177. You run, desperate to get away from the bridge tragedy. Adrenaline floods your veins. The wind see a digital sign in front of the Point Pleasant Bank building. It cycles through the temperature, an advertisement for free checking, and today's date. You are 10 days in the future. Your attention then snaps to another bridge spanning the river. It's not the same one as before, though. It looks newer, but that doesn't matter. It's about to fall too. You sense it before you see it. A dull vibrating sound shakes the air. Then thick green laser beams strike like angry lightning bolts. A black triangular UFO emerges from the clouds, drilling the bridge with lasers. Smaller ships buzz across the river like a swarm of giant flies. It's an invasion. Out of nowhere, troops of armed, orca-faced aliens stomp past on the streets. One of them sees you. It points a weapon. My goodness. This is escalating rather quickly. You're dizzy again with terror and another crippling wave of vertigo. Don't shoot, you cry as a blue laser whizzes hotly past your ear. Your grandfather's watch spins its hands, narrowly saving you, hurtling you through the days once more. This time when you open your eyes, you're back in his office, gasping for a breath. Your stomach roils and your mind races. What in the world just happened? You check your phone, which tells you you're in the present. Relieved to have returned safely, you wobble over to your grandfather's table to search through his notes. The Silver Bridge collapsed in 1967. It's a fact of history. You must have gone back in time and witnessed it. But does that mean you also just glimpsed the future? Is there going to be a catastrophic alien invasion in 10 days? If it hasn't happened yet, is there a way to stop it? You place the watch back in the leather box where you found it, studying its miniature knobs and buttons. It's meant to be set and controlled. Of course it is. It will take you where and when you want, if you know how to use it. After examining the array of settings, you decide they seem straightforward. They are longitude and latitude knobs for the location, along with the changeable numbers for the date and time. You begin to wonder if you could go back to the very day your grandfather disappeared and find out what happens. Maybe you could even prevent it. If you carefully adjust the dials on the watch, setting it for the past to investigate your grandfather's disappearance, turn to page 59. The past is the past, but the future has yet to be written. If you're more worried about a possible alien invasion, turn to page 87. Well, in my own mind, I think we need some assistance with this problem we have just encountered, and maybe the owner of this watch has some unique insights that he can give into the case. So let us investigate grandfather's disappearance. On page 59, this also says the word carefully, which is a part of our new strategy going forward. Confident you've figured out the settings on the wristwatch, you twirl the miniature dials to the date your grandfather was last seen. Fastening the watch tightly around your wrist, you brace yourself for the dizzying ride through time. Immediately, though, your gut tells you that something is off. You pause for only a moment, just long enough to see that you're still in the secret office. It looks neater, more organized, but then you're dizzy once again. Traveling again. You slow and pause once more, catching a glimpse of your grandfather. He's there, just across the room from you. He looks so young. You try to call out to him, but you're spinning faster. It dawns on you that you cannot stop. You try to rip the watch from your wrist, but you fastened it too tightly. It's too late. You're speeding too fast, too far, in reverse. ourselves back to a more tenable position. The past is the past, but the future has yet to be written. If you're more worried about a possible alien invasion, turn to page 87. Well, let's see if we can do anything about these aliens. I assume they're not here to help us, but maybe. Slow down and think, you tell yourself, trying to process everything you've seen up to this point. You feel calm in your grandfather's office. You realize you love being in this secret room where you're surrounded by the knowledge he gathered over the years. He'd been searching for the truth. Your grandfather was onto something crucial. Is there really going to be an alien attack in the future? If so, how can you possibly stop it? There are answers here in these notebooks and file folders. You're sure of it. Plus, it's almost like spending time with him, and you miss him. His spirit lives between these four walls. Regroup, read, and research. You decide. Then take action. The future has yet to be written. It can wait a day or two. But soon, you're hooked. Hours blur past. You spend every night sneaking in and out of the office, curtains drawn, door locked tight, combing through the endless books, notebooks, newspaper clippings, photos, and files. It begins to feel like quicksand pulling you down. You aren't sleeping. You become paranoid. You can't trust anyone. Your grandfather's old TV occasionally buzzes and flickers to life, even though it's unplugged. Gray lines fizzle across the screen, emitting a series of beeping noises like Morse code. It's a message, you're sure. Someone is trying to communicate with you, but what are they saying? You can't figure it out. You sleep even less, vaguely aware of this obsession is driving you mad. Is this what happened to your grandfather? Meanwhile, your parents are so busy with the contractors and electrical and roof repairs. It's a full week before they notice your bloodshot eyes and gaunt face. You vehemently refuse to leave the house and go to the doctor's office. Finally, you're taken in restraints, kicking and screaming as you're hauled off to a medical facility. The staff medicates you to keep you calm, but it only enrages you further that you cannot access your grandfather's files. The numbers, there's something important about those numbers. Mumbling, 1, 2, 1, 5, 6, 7, 5, 0, 4. Over and over. It's there in your stark white hospital room that you soon meet your untimely end. The end. Well, I believe that's taken us through all of our choices after we put on the watch. So, I'm thinking next time we simply don't put on the watch, but we'll have to see about that because, as the book says, the future is not written, and we'll get to start again next time. If you enjoy this, be sure to let me know. Leave a comment letting me know you'd like to see more of this. If there's not any interest, I may finish this on my own time,